Hey everybody, how's it going? Welcome back to the Haunt Collection Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Codina, and I want to say it's been a while, but it hasn't for you. Inside Baseball, I recorded the first 4 episodes of the Haunt Collection in September, because I was anxious to record stuff and get things ready before the channel actually launched in October 1st. But so yeah, it's been a while for me since I actually recorded anything, but it hasn't been a while for you since I actually put in an episode, so it doesn't really apply, not that you really care, but going on that thought of my previous episodes, with the exception of the Gravedigger's House, because I wrote that, so it doesn't count, I had read the other 3, and I read and overall liked them. So I wanted to read one this week that I didn't know at all, that I didn't even know the title of, that was probably more on the relatively less known side. So that's what I'm going to do. That's might be something I would be better off doing, because I feel like I can get more natural reaction out of it. But at the same time, I'm still kind of trying to get used to this whole thing, like speaking thing and audio thing, and where and when to interject my thoughts, and putting together cohesive thoughts on the fly, which I probably obvious that I still kind of struggle with often. But yeah, I definitely want to do more things that I, read more stories that I don't know and give my thoughts on them. We'll see how it goes. I don't really pick out stories beforehand as much, and just kind of like, oh yeah, let's do this week. So yeah, we'll see how it goes from here. But basically, all I did this time was go to the Creepypasta wiki, which has really cool Overwatch ad on the background. It has that awesome Zenyatta cultist Halloween Terror skin and the Reaper Dracula skin. I prefer Pumpkin myself, but anyway, yeah, I just went to the Creepypasta wiki and clicked on the Halloween category because, hey, Halloween is in a couple days, guys. It's the most wonderful time of the year, right? So yeah, I want to read a Halloween story, and I just clicked on a random title that I saw in there. So hopefully this is a good one. I have chosen to read Mr. Bones by, I believe the author is TDKMC1. So, yeah, Mr. Bones. Halloween is probably my favorite holiday. I dress up in a homemade costume, I hand out treats, and I'm the life of any All Hallows party. Although I eagerly participate, I refuse to decorate for Halloween. It's my mom's fault. See, when I was about 15 years old, my mother worked at a local hotel. She was a night shift restaurant manager there. Since she was also a kleptomaniacal pack rat, she took decorations home with her often. Shortly after Halloween, she brought home this ugly decoration. It was a plastic skeleton, dressed in a top hat and tails. The skeleton was about the size of a 3-year-old child. It was painted a dim ivory, the color of old bones. She shoved the ugly thing in my face. So I'm pleased that I clicked on this one, because for Halloween we have actually a skeleton popping out. And there's a picture attached to the story here. It is pretty close to what it's describing. I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those where it's like someone saw this picture and wrote the story inspired by it. It looks like a tiny skeleton, although it looks less realistic than it's being described as, and it's wearing a top hat and a tux. It's just in a decoration on the street somewhere. It's tough to tell. I can't tell where it's supposed to be. There's a couple ladies in the background. But yeah, you'll see. I'll include the link on. You can look at it for yourself. Anyway, isn't it the greatest? Come closer and check it out, Mom said excitedly. When I got closer, I shrieked as the stupid thing spoke. Well, to be more accurate, it screamed at me, with glowing redness in its empty eye sockets. Boo! Yay! Happy Halloween! Turned out the skeleton had a battery pack in it that powered 2 red LEDs and a speaker hidden in its skull. Real funny, Mom. Scare your kid out of 10 years of her life. I asked her to take the batteries out of the pack. She did so, snickering at her joke, and placed the skeleton in the display alcove directly across from our front door. As the months passed, she dressed Mr. Bones, yes, she named the stupid thing, in different accessories for the holidays. Indian headband on his top hat for Thanksgiving, a fake white beard for Christmas, a glittery bow tie for New Year's. At random, she would put the batteries in again to give me a scare when I got home from school. Mom seems pretty cool, aside from the fact that she's like a serial thief, or a compulsive thief. I'm all for having a skeleton as a decoration throughout the years. But, yeah, continuing. Mom, take the batteries out again. I didn't put them back in, honey. She was laughing as she said it, which gave proof to her lie. I hated pranks. Man, this little girl's kind of a drag, right? It's cool. Skeletons are cool. My mom left me home alone a lot at night. It came with her job as a night manager. I dealt with it by playing video games, or reading as late as I wanted, and eating junk food I had hidden in my room. They didn't always help, though, as sometimes I got this feeling. I would say it was just paranoia, but anyone who has experienced it would never say just paranoia. That makes it seem smaller than it feels. Your mouth goes dry, and no amount of drink makes it feel better. Your stomach keeps doing this strange roll to the side. Your breath becomes shorter, and all you can think about is how stupidly easy it would be for someone to get into your place and make short, bloody, violent use of you. You feel like that all the time if you listen to true crime podcasts, I assure you. I decided to take the batteries out of Mr. Bones once and for all during one of these fits. I didn't need the stupid thing shrieking at me while I was like this. I took out the batteries and decided to clip one of the wires to make sure. As I picked the skeleton up and turned it over, it occurred to me the decoration was a bit heavy. It felt heavier than plastic should be. I knew the hands were plastic. The little bony hands were obviously made from a bad mold, as was the skull. After I clipped the wire, I opened the tuxedo shirt and felt the ribs. It didn't feel like plastic. It felt colder, a little like stone, a little like wood. There were strange grooves in the area where the heart would be on a normal person. Notches, like something had been forced there. I never felt bone, but those ribs felt like how I imagined bone would. I'm not going to make a joke about feeling bones here. This is serious. I quickly buttoned the shirt back up on the doll and flung it into the alcove. I was going to head up to bed now and tell Mom about... I was going to head up to bed, comma, all capitals, now, comma, and tell Mom about this in the morning. I don't know why they emphasize now like that. I don't know. Maybe we could take the doll to the police, or give it a proper burial. I turned to head up the stairs. Boo. It was said quietly, not screamed this time. My head whipped around. Light came from the eye holes of the doll's skull, beaming red at the ceiling. After I had clipped its cables and taken out the batteries and what the fuck? I didn't wait for an answer. I ran up the stairs to my room and locked the door. I left all the lights on and refused to come out until morning. My mother promised me she'd take care of the doll. I never saw it again after that. I don't know if she took it to the cops or just threw it away. Okay, that's the end apparently. Yeah, it's not too much going on here. It's just sort of this basic little story about this weird, I guess, haunted doll that may have had a real ribcage. I don't know. We got into how bones feel. I guess there was some points here where the writing kind of tried to be real conversational with the after I had clipped its cables and taken out the batteries and what the fuck, and then the all caps now. Although even in conversation that was kind of weird. Yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately, I feel like there's not a ton to say on this because not too much went on. Like there wasn't. It's just sort of there. Like and I guess it's sort of predictable. The whole there was real bones in the skeleton doll. Yeah, it's just sort of there's not too much going on. She was weirded out by this doll, and the mother seemed to go along with the fact that, like, oh, well, I didn't put batteries in there, and they never really pursued the fact that she was saying, well, it's going off, and if there's no batteries in there. So it's not clear whether the mother actually had left the batteries out. I mean, I guess she had put them in because at the end, our narrator does take them out and clips one of the wires. Yeah, and it's, like I said, it's just kind of, I guess this is the price of reading stories I don't really know, where, you run the risk of it, whether it's good or bad, at least if you know it, you know what the content is. This is just sort of like short and whatever. The fact that it does like the little boo, I like that. I like that it didn't go for just screaming and all that again. It kind of like, it's kind of comedic, like it gave like the knowing, like, boo. It wasn't like going for the big loud. It was just like, yeah, just to show her that I'm a haunted skeleton doll. It's kind of fun. There's a funniness to the story, really. The prankster mom is funny to me. But yeah, unfortunately, maybe there isn't a ton to say about this one to me. It's like I said, I wouldn't be surprised if this was like somebody saw this photo and was like, "Oh, I'm going to write a story about a little skeleton doll that has some real bones in it." And the fact this person doesn't know what rib bones feels like, I mean, get some barbecue. Like, you're missing out. But, yeah, I think, before I keep repeating myself, I think that's kind of about it. I can't think of too much more to talk about here. There isn't, like, a lot to break down or anything. The writing's there. It's not, like, bad. And like I said, I think they're kind of going to go for a conversational tone at times. I pointed out, like the capital now is really awkward. I don't get it. And it just kind of ends, like, there's no... And, the leaving the ending vague is often something that needs to happen in horror. But here it's just sort of like, well, I don't know what happened to the doll. Like, the mother didn't say what she did after all this time. She doesn't know, like, what she did with this doll that potentially had, like, human remains, but then it was small, so it's one of those, like, was it remains from a child, or was it even human? We don't know. It would have been nice to have an implication of that, because right now it could just be a doll that had, like, I don't know, pig ribs in it or something, because it's smaller and stuff, so they might not have been, like, full human-sized ribs. If there was an implication that, like, for some reason this had, like, a child's rib cage in there, that could be pretty eerie and unsettling. If you dove a little more into that, it just kind of goes for the quick, the doll is functioning without batteries and has real bones in it. It's kind of whatever. It's whatever. It's just meh. Wonder, this came out in January of 2013. I wonder if TDKMC1 has written anything else. Let's take a look. Oh yeah, she has a few other stories here. Maybe I'll check them out and see if she's improved or anything, or what the other stories look like on Mirrors and Dreams, The Bookshop, and The Lookout Tower. Yeah, maybe I'll take a look at some point, and whether for the show or not, I'm just kind of curious. She's asking for constructive advice, I see, and she's requesting that people don't tell her to go eat a bag of male genitals. And I agree, that's not constructive. So hopefully nobody told her that. Yeah. I think that's gonna about wrap it up. I saw something in the comments about Mr. Bones' Wild Ride. Yeah, of course that's spooky, scary skeletons. Skeletons popping out. Happy Halloween, right? And before we go, speaking of Halloween, I have a bonus episode coming out on the 31st. Obviously, I can't pass up having some kind of Halloween special, right? It will be a original, so no analysis again. Just me reading a story that I wrote for this podcast. And it will be Halloween themed. And hopefully you like it. I'm pretty proud of it, actually. You know, I think I've said before that I have a hard time sharing my stuff because I have a hard time, with liking my stuff. But yeah, this one I like it. So hopefully you do too. So yeah, watch this feed because on Tuesday, right? Tuesday's Halloween. Either way, October 31st, there will be the first Hall Collection bonus episode for Halloween. So other than that, yeah, the usual stuff, like, subscribe, all that. Follow me on Twitter. All the links will be in the description. Twitter, Facebook. There's a Tumblr, if that's your thing. I don't really know how to use Tumblr still. I've just been posting the episodes there when they come up. Yeah. I think that about does it. Go ahead, share it if you like it. Let's get some more eyes on here if it's a thing that you're into. So with that, I will see you next time. Later.